wonderful, isn't it? These pictures are perfect worlds that a modern person will imagine an utopia looking like. In this so-called perfect world, all the problems that affect everyone are non-existing, from poverty, pollution, sadness. Many people call this place an utopia. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, an utopia is a place of ideal perfection, especially in law, government, and social conditions. This utopia was brought to life in Thomas More's original novel called Utopia. According to historians, this novel was one of the first pieces of work that put the idea on paper and gave it a name. Thomas More describes the characteristics of the place of Utopia in his novel, such as its geography, history, cities, houses, government, farming, money, outfits, family, households, lack of private property, food, dining, conversation, travel, trade, wealth, education, religion, visitors, slavery, laws, war, holidays, and etc. He describes this place in barely over 100 pages. Ironically, the term utopia comes from the Greek word utopos. In the British Library, it means no place or nowhere. People believe that Thomas More was trying to emphasize that such kind of place couldn't exist. However, people have started to take this idea of utopia and expand on it. People have turned the idea of utopia into what their perfect world will look like. They interpret this in many shapes and forms. As time goes on, they start to emphasizing on huge problems that they believe will make a world a better place. These ideas have slowly been an evolution. The idea doesn't appear on paper again until 100 years later. Therefore, we ask our expert of the 1600s, Dr. Mann, to elaborate on it.
By the 1600s, The City of the Sun by Tommaso Campanella was written while he was sentenced to life captivity for sedition and heresy. This is one of the most important utopian philosophical texts and may have influenced Bacon's New Atlantis. In The City of the Sun, no citizen is more important than another. The citizens are expected to be aware of the history and laws because it is painted on the walls that surrounded the city. Everyone serves the state and receives everything from the state. There is no private property and no one can be rich or poor. They live in dormitories and every 6 months they are moved into new sections. By the 1627, Sir Francis Bacon published New Atlantis, which is an unfinished utopian novel. The novel portrays the creation of a utopian land where generosity and enlightenment are the commonly held qualities of a perfect world. In two of Plato's dialogue, Republican Laws, there was an attempt to explain the political organization that would allow the citizens to live in harmony. It would also provide the education for each citizen to reach his or her highest potential possible. During the 19th century, scholars such as Henry St. Simon, Charles Flower, and Robert Owens spread the idea of forming small experimental communities to put philosophical concepts into use. Karl Marx and Frederick Engels saw that utopianism gave an idea for a better future. However, they criticized utopian writers' lack of deeper understanding of social and political realities which could help actual political change. Herbert Marcus contrasted between abstract utopias based on fantasies and concrete utopias based on social theory. Overall, utopianism is thought to start in the imagination, which then transform reality into images of hope and dreams.
Thank you, Dr. Min. Herbert Marcuse was an important philosopher that gave us a modern definition of what the term utopia means. We asked the expert on Herbert Marcuse, Dr. Sungten Nguyen, to explain it.
Herbert Marcuse is a German-immigrated American who was one of the most influential intellectuals during his time in the 1960s, being a philosopher, social theorist, and political activist. According to him, a utopia is a historical concept which consists of ways for social change that is thought to be impossible in a world that lacks social maturity despite its potential. His point is, a utopia can exist, but it depends on the cooperation of man. The abolition of hunger, misery, and poverty is technically possible with the world's resources and production, and no true scientist should deny this possibility. Though, the social change that is required to obtain a utopia goes against scientific laws, biologic laws, and the laws of nature. Furthermore, he talks about repression and how we create a repressive society in ourselves as our needs continue to develop and change with evolution. Repression will provoke a rebellion.
Thank you. As the idea of utopia becomes popular, many books start to come out with the idea. However, as many books start to come out, we start seeing many types of utopias. Explain the types of utopias.
The idea of utopia can be broken down into subgenres of religious utopia, scientific utopia, political utopia, and economic utopia. The idea of religious utopia is normally seen as the ideal place that one believes in as part of their religion. Many people will try to arrange their lives in a way that their faith will lead them to this ideal place. For example, in Christianity, their utopia is the Garden of Eden or even heaven. On the other hand, scientific utopias normally involve the use of technology to prolong life or end suffering. Political utopias are generally a city or establishment where the government makes perfect living conditions. The government will create laws that make everything seem just and also normally deter from allowing self-freedom as it doesn't help the community. Similarly, economic utopias are also created by the government striving to reach a common goal, peace and perfection. Many traits are similar to socialism, with everyone being equal in quantity of work, food, and various other wealth. One modern example of an economic utopia is Animal Farm, written by George W. Orwell. Orwell writes of a farm where the animals have taken over and the pigs, being the smartest of the bunch, rise up and lead the rest of their barnmates toward a perfect society.
Thank you. Since Animal Farm is one of the most famous utopian books, I decided to talk with the characters in it to see what their beliefs in it of what utopia is. Hey, I'm here with the famous character of Animal Farm.
Character, I am a supreme pig.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I have questions for him about the book that just came out, Animal Farm. Well, thank you for joining us.
Your pleasure.
Okay. Yes, it's my pleasure. So, will you approve of any other leaders, and why?
I mean, I wouldn't approve of any other leaders, but like, if I were to pick another, nah, I don't.
Okay. Next question. Who is the most trustworthy animal besides the pigs?
Besides the pigs, I would say the dogs, because they're loyal to me, and the pigs, and they're loyal to me, and me, and there's a pig. They are a pig's best friend, you know.
They do.
They will kill anyone I say.
Lovely. Okay, next question. And last, I think. Oh no, one more. Do you feel that your farm is a utopia?
Of course, all animals have equal rights, and I rule them, which means there's peace all over.
I see. What makes an utopia?
A farm full of pigs, ruled by me.
I see.
And only me. And they all have to listen to me.
Lovely. Okay, thank you for your time, Napoleon. Okay. Now that we already talked with the leader of this farm, we're gonna talk about the wisest and oldest animal in this farm. Welcome, Benjamin.
Hello.
I'm gonna ask you 3 quick questions, okay? Could the humans be good leaders if they weren't drunk and cruel?
No matter who the leader is, they will always take advantage of the power and become unfair in the end. They will always think that they're doing the right thing for the people, but they're not. Or for the animals.
Next question. Do you think you were living in a utopia?
I do not believe in a utopia. If there was a utopia, everyone would be happy and everyone would be satisfied. But there will always be someone trying to go in power and be more better than the other, and there will always be people who does not agree with what the person in power wants.
Okay. Do you know of a plan? And did you try to burn the others, like the pigs' plan they had, ruin the farm?
I have always known that the pigs were selfish, and I always thought like they weren't doing the right things for all the animals, but just for themselves. I try to tell the other animals, but they don't agree with me or believe me because they think I am too old and I am almost gonna die. So I'm just trying to help myself and not them.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
In modern literature, a new type of utopian is starting to emerge. This type is called scientific and technological utopia. This utopia takes place in the future, when it is believed that advanced science and technology will allow utopian living standards. Some examples are A Brave New World, A Modern Utopia, and Fahrenheit 451. The idea of utopia has a broad definition. It goes all the way back to the 1500s to where the idea was put on paper, to how utopianism becomes a thing. The type of utopia starts to emerge. Finally, Herbert Marcuse gives us a modern definition to what an utopia is. This idea has changed through time and become really broad to explain it. But maybe later in the future, the term will change and we'll see a new definition.